Hi, my name is Rabbi Chaim Fogelman from OK Kosher Certification, where we do kosher without compromise. Today we will look at the origin of kosher and the most basic laws of keeping kosher. What are the laws? Where do they come from? And why are they so important? So let's get right into it. The word kosher, from the Hebrew word kasher, means proper, just, or fit. It describes anything done right, whether in business, politics, or simple decency. In Talmudic tradition and in civil law, something kosher is correctly prepared, proper in every detail. Kosher can be applied to many things, but this series will focus on kosher food. It all started back in the time of Moses at Mount Sinai, when God gave Moses the Torah, the Bible. God said some foods are permitted to the Jewish people and others are not. There are foods that can be only consumed if they are prepared in a certain way. And even after all is said and done, some of these permitted foods can never be mixed, like milk and meat. They must always be kept separate. Not only the actual food, even the utensils must always be kept apart. The modern world has often thought that the laws of kosher were based on hygiene. It was believed by some that kosher animals were healthier to eat than non-kosher animals. Thus, it was natural for many to assume that all the laws of kosher were merely hygienic in intent and origin, and that is wrong. Also wrong is the belief that kosher means blessed by a rabbi. One must understand that the laws of kosher are the laws that God gave Moses. We don't really know the reason why God commanded the Jewish people to keep kosher, but what we do know is that the laws are clearly written in the Torah, and the Jewish people have been keeping kosher for well over 3,000 years. Now, for something to be kosher, two things have to happen. First, all the ingredients that are used in a particular product must be kosher. Second, all the equipment that comes in contact with the food must also be kosher. Kosher equipment simply means equipment that has not been used with a non-kosher product. So either it's brand new or the equipment has been designated for kosher use only. If not, it must be kashered or kosherized, which means properly cleaned and brought back to the original state, depending on the actual equipment and how it was used: cold, hot, dry, wet, and so on. So let's take a look at some examples of different foods and some of the basic laws of kosher. All fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes are permissible as long as they are not processed and are in their raw state, and they must be insect-free, then they are inherently kosher. Now, fruits, vegetables, and grains that come from the Holy Land of Israel have special laws before they will be permitted to eat, and that is a lecture of its own. All animals that chew their cud and have split hooves are kosher. So cows, sheep, and goats are examples that are kosher. However, they must be slaughtered by a shochet. A shochet is a trained specialist who slaughters an animal with a special knife that is so sharp that the blade can almost cut on its own without any pressure from the hand of the shochet. This is a very quick and painless method to kill animals. Now, pigs, rabbits, and horses are examples of animals that are not kosher. Regarding birds, there's an oral tradition of which ones are kosher. Chickens, ducks, geese are kosher. Predatory and scavenger birds are not kosher. Just like kosher mammals, kosher birds need to be slaughtered by a qualified shochet. When it comes to fish, the Torah tells us that any fish that has fins and scales is kosher. Examples of kosher fish are salmon, tilapia, whitefish, carp, and sole. On the other hand, catfish, eel, shark, lobster, and shellfish are not kosher. So that is a general outline for kosher ingredients. Now for some basic rules of kosher. Meat and dairy products are never combined. Separate utensils are used for each. Fish is also kept separate from milk and meat, and that is as a health precaution. It's for this reason that kosher foods have different categories, like meat and dairy. Since they can never be mixed and must always be separated, the person keeping the kosher laws must know the status of each and every product. Pareve is another category. Para foods are neutral. They are neither dairy nor meat. Fruits and vegetables, fish and grains are all para foods. Interestingly, when it comes to eggs, even though they are found in the dairy section in the supermarket, as far as kosher is concerned, they are considered a para food. Para foods take on the status of the foods that they are mixed with, either meat or dairy. So just to recap, the categories of kosher are meat, dairy, pareve, fish, DE, which stands for dairy equipment, and so on. Additionally, there is kosher for Passover, and that's a lecture of its own. We also have dairy products that are produced with a full-time rabbi present, and they are called Chalav Yisrael. Baked products that a rabbi takes part in the baking process, and they are called Pas Yisrael. All cooked foods that cannot be eaten raw and are prestigious enough to be served to a king, or today like to be served at a state dinner, must have a rabbi involved in the cooking process as well. And if you have any additional questions, please reach out to your OK Rabbinical Coordinator, and they will be sure to answer all of your questions. So until next time, I'm Rabbi Chaim Fogelman. Thank you for watching, and may all your days be kosher ones.